Okay, so there are certain changes that needs to be done before we start the application. So first of all, this has to be the name of the field. It should be created at and updated at. It should be similar to the field name that is being provided in here. It should be created at and updated at, and not the one which is present into the database that I took. Then, yeah, let's see if the application starts. So, okay, and this is probably because of exception in the user controller user service with the user tar. Okay, let me just debug this out. Probably it could be here, and let me try this. Let me try debugging this and let's see where it fails. So probably it could be failing in here or getting the data from the database. Okay, and this seems to be good because there is no present user into the Hazelcast. And let me just continue. Okay. It failed. So let me try to put a try catch so that we can catch an exception in here. The exception would be to figure out what the issue would be, and this would be e.getMessage, and let me put an e over here along with a stack trace, e.print stack trace, and let me run it again. This is okay. Do fate, and again it fetches all the users. Okay, there seems to be one entry for the user that we tried to post and which failed with the Hazelcast. And this is an exception. Okay, what does it put? Fail to serialize the user. Okay, okay, F9. And cannot, okay, cannot be serialized compact. It says, okay, let me add this. Probably we need, since we are using a map of, for in the case of Hazelcast, we need to serialize the user class so that we can put that into the Hazelcast instance. And this goes into exception. Okay. It says, okay, cannot be serialized, fail to serialize user. So what we can do is, let me just take this off, build this first. Okay. And also let me refresh the user service. Yes, I need to make changes to the user class and add an implementation of the serialize interface. But before that, let me give it this a try if it works. I haven't made any changes though, but There has to be some sort of a other error that I'm expecting. Okay. It says started, but it still shows an exception, right? Because when we try to put into the Hazelcast, it'll give an exception. So let me just serialize that class. Should be a user that implements serializable along with a probably might need a UUID for it. And in that case, I'll just try to wait a minute. I'll take a long serial ID. So it'll have a private static final long serial version UID. That'll be equal to anything probably. Let me take this number. Okay, and annotate field with, yeah, okay. That's serial. Do I need to make abstract entity? Let's see. I'm not doing it right now, and if it throws an exception, then I'll do it. Otherwise, let it be as it is. So this goes into a build. Okay. And if once that is built, let me refresh the user service. Okay. And let me debug this up again. So debug F8, F9, continue. Along with, okay. That's good. At least it did not throw an exception. Let me try to post again. So it goes F8. Is there a debug point in here? Let me put a debug point. So it should create a player. Oh, sorry, a user. And just F8. Save user. Okay. It updated its ID. It should update its ID, and it should update its ID and creation time. And this should be an info. I'll let it be F8. F8. I'll be putting this as an info and adding a user with ID, saving the user to database to DB. This will be a user and adding a user with ID, adding a user F8 9. What's the issue? Thread starvation o'clock detected. Anyways, let me stop the server and rerun it again. Adding user to Hazelcast with ID, and let me debug this. This won't be required, and I'll be removing this code and putting it into the scheduler. I won't be using this in the service. Okay, and let me give this a call. F9, F9, fate. Okay, this seems to be good. And let me check the database. Select star from user, use post application. Reconnect to the database, yes. Use post application, select star from users. Yeah, okay. So the entry was made. First name is this one. This is the entry. That is 494 OC. And let me get the entry. So it should be get. Okay, it is returning a entry the first any, and let me check why isn't it returning the ID as well as the creation and timestamp. Go to user controller, get random user, and this is user DTO mapper. Probably did I make any entry change? Get any user. Okay, probably is because the earlier entry wasn't done properly. If I go to users, wait. Let me clear this up. And it would put a fresh entry into it. Wait. Update user. So we're using add random users, save user. Okay, let me put a debug point in here and let's see what it returns. I just need to check why it does not have an ID as well as a creation and timestamp. And in order to do that, I just need to debug what data that is being fetched from the Hazelcast. So you got the users, which is this, and do they have a value? So this has null. Again, this has null, and this has null too. So probably I'm guessing is while entering into the database, they aren't using the values for the creation and updation. Let me debug add a post entry, and let's see what happens when you do that. Go user service, continue, and it should get started. Okay, let me post this once, and okay, so this returned user, so it has an ID as well as a created and updated timestamp. So we got f8 get user ID dot put user, f9. Is it still having that issue? Probably I need to check the reason for this. Okay, I'll check this out and we'll see what happens. Till then, bye.